A fallen victim to offenders are able to reach out for help. 41 NBC's Carlisha Booz reports state officials are listening and they're ready to meet those needs.
Victims are an extremely critical part of the parole process.
Crime victims are getting their voices heard. The State Board of Pardons and Paroles invited victims to come out to meet with the board and other government agencies to discuss the impact of crime and the offender's parole status for Victim Visitors Day.
One of the things I think that this helps is for victims to become survivors, and we heard some inspirational remarks from our speakers today about that process and surviving and not letting the crime and what has happened to the person or to the family just take over their lives for the rest of their lives.
5 victims spoke at the event and shared their stories and how they overcame their past.
I talked about how I lost my mother to domestic violence when I was 12, and my brother and sister, who are in the room right now, were only 2. She was strangled to death by my brother and sister's father, by her ex-boyfriend, and overcoming that really through, my family, my faith, my friends, and finding forgiveness for the offender.
Crime victims met with a parole board member, hearing examiner, and clemency staff to answer questions about an offender's case and provide information to the board.
Once all of that is done, we take that information and we put it in the parole offender's file so that the board members will have that to review.
Some offenders who are no longer behind bars are either on parole or probation. The Department of Community Supervision makes sure they are not in contact with victims. However, we're on site to discuss the aspect of the offender's supervision.
Oftentimes they'll have questions about how do you supervise them, what takes place, am I safe, and we reassure them of that.
And insurance, a support system, coming together to protect and hear the voices of those impacted by criminals. In Milledgeville, Carlisha Booz, 41 NBC News.
Now, some of the victims who came out were able to register for the first time with the Georgia Office of Victim Services. The Board of Parole has been conducting these events around the state since 2006.